Ever since Adam, humanity has craved a good king to set the world to rights. Adam was set over the creation to rule, but he dragged it down to death and curse. Yet from the beginning, the Messiah was promised. In Greek, it's the word Christ. It just means Spirit-filled king. God would raise the Messiah up, and in the Messiah, this world would be raised up to life and blessing. In Genesis, a line of kings are promised to come from the tribe of Judah. And each of these human rulers would be a throne warmer for the Messiah. In Genesis 49 verse 10 it says that the scepter, the ruling scepter, will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until he to whom it belongs shall come, and the obedience of the nations is his. The scepter would be passed from king to king to king to king to king to king to king until the Messiah came, which meant every earthly king was a foretaste of the Messiah. Either his goodness would inspire our hope, or his badness would make us desperate for the righteous ruler. Samson is a brilliant mixture of the good and the bad. You can read his story in Judges chapter 13 to 16. I'm not going to read it here, but perhaps you could pause the video and read Judges 13 to 16 for yourselves. Here, I'm just going to comment on the story and how Samson makes us crave the true Messiah, but also pictures the true Messiah. It's both. It's negatives and positives for Samson. On the negative side, Samson is a firebrand who wants what he wants when he wants it. He quickly flies off into rages with foreign men, and at the same time he's brought low by more than one foreign woman, the most famous being Delilah. No man could mess with Samson, but he was easily undone by his libido. Though the Lord uses his life for good, his choices appear impetuous in the extreme. So those are the negatives. But on the plus side, Samson's name means sunshine. And the reign of the Messiah was meant to be like sunshine, chasing away the darkness. You can read that in 2 Samuel chapter 23, for instance, or Isaiah 9, or Luke chapter 1. So Samson is the sunshine who's going to chase away the darkness. And from the earliest time, Samson is filled with the Spirit, Judges 13, verse 25. And Messiah means the Spirit-filled king. Samson is famous for his strength, but of course that strength is not a natural endowment, it is power from on high. And those around Samson are constantly puzzled by it. They repeatedly urge Delilah in Judges chapter 16 verse 5. The rulers of the Philistines went to her and said, "See if you can lure him into showing you the secret of his great strength, and how we can overpower him so that we may tie him up and subdue him." Such puzzlement would never arise if Samson was this kind of barrel-chested gym junkie, right? The pictures of Samson that depict sort of muscles on his muscles, they really don't understand the scriptural truth. Samson's power is spirit-dependent. Everyone looks at him and thinks, well, how can he be so strong? It's not that he's naturally strong. He is supernaturally strong. It is a God-ordained power. And just as Jesus claimed to do nothing by himself, so Samson gives us a picture of the true strength that comes not from the flesh, but from the Father and by the Spirit. Samson also has a kind of wisdom as well. He's a teller of riddles which no one can explain but he alone. That's in Judges chapter 14. In this way, Samson is a forerunner to wise King Solomon, whose unanswerable wisdom was itself a picture of Christ's. Another positive for Samson was his determination to win a bride at all costs. Though, of course, he pursued this very foolishly. That too is a picture of Christ who goes to every length in order to win a bride, the church. And Samson was a ruler who saved his people and defeated God's enemy. Ultimately, he brought victory through his own death. Samson's demise was a kind of tragic victory in Judges chapter 16. His beloved, Delilah, she turns traitor. His wisdom is defeated, his strength is turned to weakness. The lights go out for this man who is called Sunshine, and his eyes are put out by the enemy. As he is bound and taken away to the pit, there he becomes an object of scorn, and they mock this once mighty man, Judges 16 verse 25. Yet in this tragedy comes the victory. One day Samson is brought out from his prison cell to be humiliated before his banqueting captors. But Samson has one last request of the Lord. Samson says in Judges chapter 16 from verse 28, Samson prayed to the Lord, "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please, God, strengthen me just once more, and let me get one more blow of revenge on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." Then Samson reached towards the 2 central pillars on which the temple stood, bracing himself against them, his right hand on the one and his left hand on the other. Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines." Then he pushed with all his might, and down came the temple on the rulers and all the people in it. Thus he killed many more when he died than while he lived. We may choose to read Samson's story as just a whirlwind of passion and pride. Perhaps we read it as an historical text informing us of an ancient barbarism. We might see it as a morality tale. Perhaps it's just cautioning us against the shady ladies, or cautioning us against our own lusts and libido, or cautioning us against haircuts or something. I don't know. But I don't think we'll understand this story unless we see it as a testimony to Jesus. You see, that's the way to read the whole Bible. Christ is our spirit-filled ruler. He is sunshine in our darkness. He is strength in dependence. He is wisdom beyond compare. He is the lover of his bride. Yet just as with Samson, the greatest accomplishment of the King of Kings was his death. It was as he was mocked and despised and cast into the darkness that he defeated his enemies. He bowed himself on that cross and submitted to an unimaginable crushing. And he did it for us. May every king, good and bad, or good and bad, may they all lead you to Jesus.